Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man Jay Rich. Count that money, man. Now wipe the crust out of your eyes. Get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Ray G. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. It is Thursday, February 24th, 2022. It's Wake Up with Ray G. Glad you're in the building. Good morning to all of you fine individuals in the comments. Michael, Mike, Adrian, Shane, Mike, Jonah, another Mike, Shane, Danny, another Mike, McNutted, Patrick, Big Shy in the building. Evan, Ricardo, Lindsay, Mac, Terrence, man, happy y'all are here. It's our Friday, but we are excited because we are going to do the first sort of dynasty startup mock draft review here on this show. The NBA is back tonight, so we'll have some picks for you all to win some of that sweet, sweet money. Talk a little football, talk a little strategy. Jay, there was some interesting conversation I had last night in the patron Discord, right? So interesting conversation. I want to tap into that, see what you think about this new unique startup setting format. And man, can you believe we've got the NFL Combine next week? So Jay, good morning to you, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good. A little slow to get up this morning, but other than that, I'm happy to be here, man. Combine next week, big week for us, big week for the NFL. Going to be lots to talk about, lots of narratives. We're going to have to dive into speed scores, weight-adjusted athleticism. It's a good time to be a Dynasty fantasy football fan, so happy to get into it, and I'm excited to be here, man. NBA is back tonight. That'll be fun. We were going through your play this morning. I like it. I think it's going to be a good one. So the people, I hope they enjoy it. I hope they play it, and I hope they use promo code WAKE UP.
Yeah, they got to use that. So all the links to the stuff in the description. Newsletter drops tomorrow, free $99. Make sure you subscribe to that.
Yes, sir.
Wake Up with Ray G podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the new feed, not the DD feed. Wake Up with Ray G podcast. Off the Line Fantasy Football Show comes out today. 4D Chess drops tomorrow. And yeah, promo code Wake Up, Prize Picks. Shout out to our partners, Prize Picks, for this beautiful background and backdrop that we have. Make sure you use the promo code Wake Up. Click the link, it'll take you right there. Deposit match up to $100. You put in $100, they give you a free $100. You can get in those NFL future bets. Had a lot of good conversation about that yesterday. But check it out. So last night, yesterday, first and foremost, I did a Reddit AMA. My first time venturing into the Reddit world. And for those of y'all who aren't familiar, people are kind of nasty on Twitter. In the YouTube comments, sometimes y'all are kind of assholes, but it's normally pretty mild-mannered. Facebook and Reddit, it is like triple X, no holds barred. It is like the nasty porn. I mean, it's not just that softcore stuff that comes on Cinemax, where you don't really see anything. Reddit is like full-fledged. You got it all. It's right there, right? But I had a great time, man. There were like over 100 questions. I spent 4 hours on that Reddit forum, man, giving people answers, so it was cool. And then I had to turn around and do another AMA with our patrons last night, and one of the patrons talked about the USFL draft, and I didn't know that how they did the draft, Jay, was 8 teams, and every round, each team had to draft the same position in every round. Round 1, every team drafts a quarterback. Round 2, every team drafts a running back. So my mind starts thinking, what crazy fantasy football league could I create where you essentially, each round is dedicated to a position, right? And I thought about, how do you make that fair? Because my question was, would you rather have the 101 in the quarterback tight end round or the 101 in the running back wide receiver round if you're alternating rounds, right? But then I thought the better way to do that, to give everyone an equal shot of all 12 players, is to do an auction, okay? So the way that you would run this is in the auction, the first 12 picks must be quarterbacks. And everybody's got a fair shot at all the players, but the first 12 picks must be quarterback. After you win your player, you're out of that round. You're done. So round 1, the first 12 picks, You win Josh Allen. You're done. Your auction is done for that round. The next 11 teams bid on the next 11 quarterbacks, right? Next round, running backs. The next 12 picks are all running backs. Once you win your running back in that auction, you sit it out. I think that'd be kind of a dope league to kick off. I'm going to do it. I think it would be interesting, a creative strategy. I think it would be mass chaos. But I think every round you dedicate to a position and you auction it. Because if you snake it, you're going to get screwed if you're like the 112 in the quarterback round. And then, I don't think it'd be as fair that way. But what do you think about doing an auction where each round is dedicated to a position and everyone has to draft that same position and make people pay up for what they want? I think that'd be a dope-ass league, man.
It's interesting for sure. So in my head, as you're talking about it, I already think of the strategy that you would employ to dominate in that format, right? Because the key to the whole format is once you get a player, you're out for that round. So at the end of the round, depending on what position you're going after, that's where the value is really going to be found, right? Because if you pick last, exactly, it's a $1 pick. So wide receiver 12 is a $1 player. And that's a pretty damn good wide receiver, right? Running back 12 still a damn good player. And that's where the idea really falls short, because then you're going to get that money back. So first round, you'll probably want to pay up for quarterback, but wide receiver, you want to be last. Running back, you probably want to be last. Tight end, depends on where you're at, probably want to be last.
So would you though? Because even if you get the player, if you get the $1 wide receiver 12, I mean, yeah, that's a
good wide receiver though.
That's a good wide receiver. So you'd want to pay up.
I think that could be like, it could be Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. Like, it could be like someone pretty damn good. It won't be AJ Brown or Chase or Jefferson, but those guys are going to go for $100, $50. Like, you're getting a massive discount.
I think the easy way to do that is just put a threshold minimum on it, and what that would be, maybe like the minimum is like $25, right? So if you want to wait. If you want to wait and be like, I'm going to bargain bin for the running back, you're still going to pay a minimum of $25 for said player. So we're gonna do this. I'm going to figure this out, because I think it would force you to have to, like, if you want to wait and say, I'll let everybody else pay for the running backs and I'll take the RB12, at minimum that RB12 is going to cost you $25, $40, whatever the positional minimal threshold is. So it still forces you to either pay up or, take what's left. So we'll see. All right.
I think it'd be interesting with smaller rosters. That way you could dedicate like $5 or $10 to each pick to get that minimum up, right?
We're gonna do this. I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna set this up.
It's gonna be a disaster.
We're gonna do it. Okay. It is gonna be a disaster, but we live in organized chaos. That's the beauty of it, man. You got to try new shit. I think this would be dope. And there it is. Wyatt Earp is the one who did it. Interesting, USFL chose to start their league that way. Thanks for the convo last night. Patreon.com/prospect talk. Get with us. Over 740 strong in the Discord. And we're giving away some free Discord memberships. I forgot what the giveaway is. I think it's just subscribe to the YouTube channel, rate and review. And then we're giving away free subs to the Discord. Yeah, subscribe to the podcast. Free. So if y'all don't want to pay the $3 a month, you can get in for free if you just follow the instructions. So, Jay, we did a Dynasty startup mock, something that we have not done yet. Like, we have not done Dynasty value, right? We've done like 5 rookie mock drafts. We've done all these different things with the rookies, but we haven't combined the rookies with the actual NFL players and done a Dynasty startup. So I thought it would be an interesting exercise to kind of go through the team builds, no trades, anything like that. Just pick your players. And we used all of the members from the 5-star tier in the Patreon group, in the Discord. So everybody in here, we've got the 4D chess guys, Off the Line Fantasy, me, you, Jordan Backus, like sharp drafters, right? So we're going to take a look at the team builds out of each view, and we're just looking at the odd number teams today. So the 101, the 103, 105, 107, 109, 111, we're just looking at those teams today, and then we'll look at the even number teams, because I was on the even number side. So we'll do me on Monday when everybody's up and watching, because I have the best team in this mock, and that's how it goes. I run the show. My stuff goes last. So you were in this one. You picked out of the 109 spot, and you said you didn't like it. You didn't like the 109 in Dynasty Startups this year, and you made some interesting selections. So we will run through these teams, and we'll let the people, the YouTube people, will let us know who had the best draft. they'll let
They'll
us
let
know
me-
who had the best draft out of these holes. So let's start it off with the 101, who was this team was run by Mike, Iowa Michael McNutted, the one half of the 40 chess guys. Again, show drops tomorrow. Make sure you tap into that. So let's take a look at what old McNutted did out of the 101 hole. Let's take a look at his roster. Boom, here we go. 101. He took Josh Allen. Started it off with my QB1 in Dynasty, Josh Allen. Followed it up at the 212 spot with Antonio Gibson. Okay, Russell Wilson, Travis Etienne were his first 4 picks. He dives back to the quarterback pool with his QB3. Zach Wilson off the board at 501. Calvin Ridley at 612. Devonta Smith and Chase Claypool. So he triple tapped the wide receiver position in this 10-round mock. Then he finishes up with Noah Fant at 901 and Brandon Cooks at 1012. So, Jay, I want you to tell me what you think about this team while I pull up, because I'm not going to show everybody the board to the end. That's how this is going to go. But I'll just tell you some players that were selected around some of maybe the questionable selections that he made. What do you think about this team out of the 101 hole? If this were your squad out of the 101, is this a contender, a pretender, a middle of the road team, or not good? What are your thoughts on this mock?
So running through it initially, I was like, I think it's probably a middle of the road team. The Antonio Gibson selection is a little bit suspect, depending on how you feel about him. And I know that Saquon Barkley went I think a round and a half later in this draft. Travis Etienne I was okay with because there wasn't a whole lot behind him. The Zach Wilson one was a little surprising, but again, at 5'1", there wasn't a whole lot of quarterbacks left. The Calvin Ridley pick, I love him, so big fan of him. I think you can get a lot of value back with Calvin Ridley. Brandon Cooks at the end is always good. He's probably going to get traded. For people who don't know, like him, Laramie Tunsil, and Deshaun Watson, obviously, probably going to be traded. I think Mike put together a good roster. There's no trades, so you can't really, if there's tier gaps and things, you can't really work your way around that. So while the Antonio Gibson was a bit of a reach, I think that for the most part, Mike found value throughout the board. I gave him a lot of shit yesterday for his Chase Claypool pick. We were going back and forth on that. I was like, Claypool, not really it in my opinion, but I understand that people want to chase that upside. So overall, I think it was a good draft. Even Noah Fant at 9-1, even though there's a lot of target competition, I think it's a great spot to get a tight end who is extremely talented, extremely athletic, super dope prospect coming out. Just hasn't really found his groove in the NFL quite yet.
So let me tell you, because it seems like people don't like listen, Jay doesn't spell shit right on the show. That's just the bit at this point. So it's okay. Antonio Gibson. But here are the running backs that he passed up. He could have had J.K. Dobbins, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller. So those are running back got kind of gross kind of quick. I'm not as in on Antonio Gibson as other people, man. I think he's all right. And the odds makers already, they have his line at 1,050 yards this season. Washington wants to bring J.D. McKissick back. I probably wouldn't take Antonio Gibson at 212. I'm a lot less bullish on him than others. Some quarterbacks that went, around that spot that he could have had. He went with Russell Wilson. The best quarterbacks available on the board after that were like Hurts, Stafford, Tua, Mac Jones, and then the rookies. I think it's okay. I agree. Devonta Smith at 701 is a steal. It's funny, we had this conversation about wide receivers. It's funny, he had the best rookie wide receiver season in Philadelphia Eagles history, and somehow his dynasty value has decreased than what it was last year. It's just the weirdest damn thing. I like Allen. Don't love Gibson. Don't love Russell Wilson. He's fine. The quarterback got ugly quick. It's kind of like, I think it's a mad team. There's no, Smitty's the best receiver. We don't know what's going on with Ridley. We hoping for a quarterback upgrade for Claypool. Fant, nah. Wilson, nah. We hope ETN is good. I think there's a lot of hope in this team. You're hoping these players, and I don't want to operate on hope. I need some certainty. Didn't love it, in my opinion. I thought it was fine. Didn't love it. Yeah, kind of meh. He got ETN. I like ETN.
Yeah.
It's just kind of meh. It's just like a a fart that really just doesn't have a smell. You know it's nasty. Like, God, you just farted. But
Silent but deadly.
no, it doesn't even really stink. It just happened, and it just sounds bad. You know what I mean? You just look at somebody like, dude, that's just gross. Like, it really doesn't have a smell. It wasn't putrid, but yeah, just a fart that didn't have a smell. All right, let's go to the next team, 103. 103 was Gene, all right? So Gene, Fantasy Gene's one half of the Off the Line Fantasy Football Podcast, and he kicked his draft off with Justin Herbert. And again, I don't know how he got Antonio Gibson at 210. Jay Rich, Jesus.
Man, what am I doing out here?
I don't know.
He
But
had...
I got a cute. I got
it's
quality
Cam
control.
Akers.
It's Cam
Akers
Dude,
over here.
Get this
Cam
shit
Akers.
right, man. You're killing me this morning. You're killing me. Justin Herbert, Cam Akers, Matthew. You've got one job. You've got one job is to put the graphics in the thing the right way so it makes me look good, and you can't do that right. Justin Herbert, Cam Akers, Matthew Stafford, okay? Devontae Adams, Treylon Burks at the 503, David Montgomery at the 610, 703 Michael Pittman, Miles Sanders at 810. I kind of like that. DJ Chark at 903, and Dalton Schultz at 1010. I'll say this. I like this team better than the first team. I like this 103 team better than I like the 101 team. Herbert at 103, at this point, anything less than 101 for Herbert, it feels like a value. You double back with Akers, and I know a lot of people ain't feeling the Cam Akers love right now. A lot of people not liking Cam Akers, but Cam Akers at 210. I wish I could scribble over this and just put Cam Akers. Stafford at 303. Who would you rather have, Matt Stafford or Russell Wilson?
I think Matt Stafford.
Okay,
I think I know where he's going to be. I know who he's playing with. Russell Wilson could get a great landing spot, but again, we don't know. And honestly, I'd probably argue that him leaving Seattle could be worse because he's got some pretty damn good weapons in Seattle right now. It's just the philosophy of the team is really what is bothering most fantasy owners. But Russell Wilson has a talent, and the guys around him are pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think I like Stafford. Devontae Adams at 410, love it. Again, I've been saying it. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is leaving. We'll see how that plays out. I don't think he's leaving. And then you follow that up with Treylon Burks, David Montgomery at 6'10", another starting running back in the 6th. Michael Pittman, I like that to pair with Devontae and Treylon. Miles Sanders at 8'10", I thought that's a pretty good value for, an RB2. Dalton Schultz, team upgrade, QB upgrade, pretty good for him. And then Dalton Schultz, reports that Dallas is going to use the franchise tag on Dalton Schultz. So I like this team. And the comments say if Gibson felt rough at 212, Cam feels worse at 210. There it is. A lot of people are not feeling Cam Akers. I'm still in, but I get the concerns. I get the concern. D-Mont in the late 6th is crazy value. What pick don't you like? And we'll see what he could have taken instead of. Does Treylon at 5'3" feel a little rich? Treylon at 5'3"?
So based on the draft board, I think Cam Akers and Treylon were the two picks that were probably higher than we expected. Like, the thing that people don't know yet about the board is that the problem is Cam Akers, Antonio Gibson went at the back of the second, but then you don't have another running back until 3-8, and then there's still veteran running backs that are good running backs. Eckler, Henry, Chubb, Kamara, all going in the 4th, 5th round.
Yeah.
So you think about Kamara in the Cam Akers, Antonio Gibson in the 2nd round versus those running backs, a little bit older, but probably still going to be able to produce in the 4th, 5th round. Yeah. That's probably where the value was zapped out. And then Treylon Burks over DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, like some pretty damn good receivers. So again, depends on who you like, who you want, but a little high for me for Treylon, but not terrible, Yeah,
and I don't know where his Dynasty ADP is right now. Felt a little high for Treylon at that point, right? But what happened is, and it's gonna happen, the rookies, Kenneth Walker goes off the board, the 2 rookie running backs are gone, so that rookie euphoria kicks in, and you're like, I got to get one of these guys, when in reality, shit, you could have waited 2 rounds and got Drake London. You know what I mean? If you just waited 2 rounds, you could have grabbed Drake London.
That's a big discount.
Yeah, that's a big discount. I think Treylon was probably the worst pick in this mock. Dynasty, just value-wise, I would have rather waited to 7-1 and got Devonta Smith that the 101 did. 2 quarterbacks. And at that point, I mean, You need 3 QBs in Dynasty, man. There were still, I think it was okay. There were still a couple of garbage quarterbacks left later that maybe he could have picked up on, but I'll say I like this team better than team 1. All right, let's go to team drafting out of the 105 hole, and hopefully there's no Antonio Gibson on this roster. There we go. Gibson has finally been selected. Okay, so Eric has done some work with Scott Connor, Dynasty and Chill. Shout out to Connor. But we got Lamar Jackson at the 105, Deshaun Watson at the 208, double taps the quarterbacks, Cooper Kupp at 3.5, T. Higgins at 4.8, DJ Moore at 5.5, Chris Godwin 6.8, Nuke Hopkins at 7.05, CEH at 8.08, Lombardi Lenny at 9.05, and Dawson Knox at 10.08. How we feeling about this one, man? I kind of, those that receiving core when DeAndre Hopkins is your wide receiver, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
I love me some wideouts. Running back, he went with the 0 RB approach. And double tapped Clyde and Lenny at the back half. I don't mind 0 RB. It's not particularly how I want to do it, but I don't mind it. And here's my thing. If you're going to go 0 RB, if that's what you're going to do, make sure you have quarterbacks that can give you something on the ground. So it's kind of a tactical strategy, right? If you go 0 RB, he's got 2 mobile quarterbacks that can get you some rushing yards. Combined, Lamar and Deshaun Watson can give him, 1,500 in a season, which at least that helps out if you're going 0 RB. Chris Godwin's going to miss probably majority of the season with the torn ACL, so probably can't rely on him too much. We don't know what we're going to get out of Clyde. Leonard Fournette, probably a new team. What do you think about this roster, man? I think if Deshaun Watson plays, he's going to be all right. I think he's a little better than middle of the road, but if Watson doesn't play, then it's a wrap, right? Like this team is cooked if Watson doesn't play.
Yeah, with no stable running backs, only Lamar Jackson, and then on top of that, Chris Godwin, one of your other pretty big pieces, even in the 6th round. It's going to be tough sledding to compete with both those guys not playing. So, again, in Dynasty, I don't mind taking the shot on Watson. I think he was drafted like QB 10. And again, for me, that's good value because he can be a top 5, top 6 quarterback. People forget he led the league in passing the last year he played in the NFL, which, again, on Houston should not happen. Like, you need to be extremely talented to make that group of receivers help you lead the league in passing. I think this team is fine. I don't necessarily agree with the build because, you're getting Cooper Kupp, which is good. But if you're going 0 running back, at some point you're going to need them, right? So at some point you're going to need running backs. And if you have to get them through the draft, it may take a year. Like Cooper Kupp's value is only going down. DJ Moore, where are we at with DJ Moore? Can we talk about DJ Moore for a minute? Because again, he's drafted 5'5". He's ahead of Stephon Diggs, ahead of McLaurin, ahead of Garrett Wilson. I mean, I'm fine with that. Ahead of Elijah Moore, ahead of Chris Godwin by a round.
I don't know
he's
if
one of those guys
okay
who
with
doesn't have a quarterback, but extremely talented. He's like the Julio Jones of the new era, right? He gets tons of yards, no touchdowns.
It seems, and I agree with Rylan G. It's almost my son's name, man. My son is in here in the damn YouTube comments at 4 years old. Look at that. I agree with this comment. He said 3 years later, this team is in a brutal rebuild. And I kind of agree with him, man. Like, Kupp, 3 years, probably big-time decline. Nuke, probably literally nuked. CEH, done. Leonard Fournette, done. Chris Godwin getting to the point where you're thinking about moving off of him. If this were my team and I built it this way, I think what I would have done instead of DJ Moore at 5'5", because it seems like they're trying to go for it now, I would have rather taken Nick Chubb. I would have probably gone running back. And Nick Chubb went right after DJ Moore because you still had Godwin. You still had Nuke Hopkins. Instead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the 8'8", he could have went with Hunter Renfrow, Chase Claypool, DJ Chark, Michael Thomas. There were other running backs like I think he could have rolled with and maybe made this build a little bit better. But it is a lot of faith on Deshaun Watson that he's going to come back and not only be what he was, but be able to play. And, we kind of talked about this on the show. Everybody keeps talking about these rookie quarterbacks not being able to crack the top 10, not being able to crack the top 5, when in reality, and I keep saying it, I don't know which quarterbacks over the next 3-4 years are actually, like, incoming quarterbacks are going to crack the top 5. Like, honestly, for the next 5 years, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and one of Lamar Jackson, Trey Lance, Kyler Murray, those are your top 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks in Dynasty. Like, nobody's cracking that, right? But if there is a quarterback that can jump right back in and put themselves in that category, it's Deshaun Watson, right? Like, I don't think it's Bryce Young. It's not CJ Stroud. It's not Quinn Ewers. We don't know what he is right now. It's not JJ McCarthy at this point in time. And I'm talking 2024 class. So while everybody is shitting on the 2022 quarterbacks because they can't crack the top 5, how many quarterbacks currently is Dak Prescott going to crack the top 5? Probably not.
Hell no.
Is Justin Fields going to crack the top 5? Maybe.
For a little, maybe.
Maybe.
He's another fringe 5 guy. Trevor Lawrence, fringe 5 guy.
Is he going to pass up Herbert, Burrow, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray? Probably not. So when you're looking at these rookies, that threshold of top 5, that's going to be very difficult to penetrate. Very difficult. So you're looking at a bunch of QB 10s to QB 17s. Like, that's the pool you're hoping the Malik Willises and the Matt Corrals, if they fall into QB 10 to QB 17, that's a good win for you. And even in that cluster, you still got a bunch of quarterbacks that they got to leap ahead, right? Quarterbacks that could take the second-year leap, the Trevor Lawrences, the Mac Jones, Tua maybe, Matthew Stafford. Like, it is a log jam at the top, and it's going to be very difficult in the foreseeable future for any quarterback to crack that top 5 barrier and threshold. But if one can do it, it's Deshaun Watson. Big time risk right there. And we will see. And somebody said, this is a great point. Elite guys are going to thank you, Alvin. Like, the elite guys are going to be elite for a very long time. Now, can Trey Lance do that? Yes, he has the potential, right? The arm strength, the rushing mobility. Can Justin Fields do it? Sure. The arm strength, the rushing mobility. But just the shoe-in that we're thinking, I'll wait until 2023 to get my elite quarterback. Newsflash for you. I don't think Bryce Young's the best NFL quarterback prospect in 2023. I do think it's CJ Stroud. I do think he's got a little more upside than Bryce Young. And no, I don't think he's going to crack the top 5, top 6, top 7, top 8 Dynasty quarterbacks, man. Like, it's the haves and the have-nots at quarterback. If you ain't got one of the top 5 guys, you're looking at a revolving door between like QB 9 and QB 15. Mix and match them, all right? All right, so let's look at the, where are we at? 107. All right, 107, let's look at what Baylor did. Baylor, 5-star member over here. 107, he starts his draft off with Kyler Murray. Then he goes with A.J. Brown. Gets his quarterback Tua Tagovailoa at 3-7. Then he taps into the rookie running back pool with Breece Hall coming off the board as the RB2 in the 2022 class. George Kittle at 5-7. Goes back to the rookie well and goes Garrett Wilson, Brandon Ayuk, Kyron Williams, Michael Thomas, and Devin Singletary. My opinion on this team, it has no clue what it wants to do, right? You've got 3 rookies, but then you've got old George Kittle. You've got older Michael Thomas. You've got, Devin Singletary at 10.06. I'm not gonna knock it, right? Like, it's fine value for potentially the starting running back. Tua, I don't know, man. Kyler and
Tua
AJ
pick
Brown
was the tough one, right? The Tua pick was one we were like, maybe.
But at that point though, at 3-7, the next quarterback off the board, I'll just bury the suspense for Monday's episode. I took the next quarterback off the board and it was Mac Jones. So there are some other QBs that went after him that made more sense. If you're trying to go for it now, maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe. Ugh.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of risk there because he may not freaking play this year. But at this point, Tua comes off the board as QB 10, 11, 12, 13. He's QB 15 off the board at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. How do you feel about this roster, man?
I think you nailed it with the direction, right? Like taking a player like AJ Brown, great player, but again, pairing him with George Kittle, then you have Garrett Wilson. You don't really know where he fits in. You don't really know what's up with Brandon Ayuk these days because he's got a new quarterback, and we all know how that's going to shake out. You have Kyler Murray, who maybe wants to play football, maybe is kind of forcing Arizona's hand a little bit. We're not really sure what's up with that. You pick up Breece Hall as your RB1. We've talked about how we're not even sure if he's really an RB1 out the gate. He's probably a back end RB1, maybe on the high end RB2. Kyron Williams, again, another guy who could be an RB2, RB3.
Kyron at 8'6" was wild to me. That was.
Yeah, it's a good pick. It's a good pick. There wasn't a whole lot of guys left, though.
No, it's not.
Really? You don't think it's a good pick?
No, I wouldn't have taken Kyron at 8'8". No.
If you like Kyron, though, there's not a whole lot behind him.
Kyron is he's Austin Eckler type, and it's going to take him some years to get to that. Some players that went around, Kyron Williams at 8'6". You got Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Hunter Renfrow, Chase Claypool, Ryan Tannehill, Hollywood Brown, Pat Freiermuth, Damian Harris later. Tyler Lockett, Mike Wood. I don't know if I would have taken, Ramondre Stevenson went 2 rounds later, and I think out the gate I'd rather have Ramondre over Kyron Williams. I think that was a bit of a reach, man. And it took, and to Mike's point, listen, I got Kyron as my RB3 based off the tape in this class. I love him, but he's not going to be Eckler out the gate, right? He's not going to be that out the gate. I think it's going to take a minute, right? Yeah, Kyron, somebody else agreed. My son, I keep calling him my son because his name is so close to mine. My son's name is Rylan Garvin, and then Rylan G says second RB is Kyron is not good. Yeah, I don't like that build at all. Your wide receivers behind A.J. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, and Garrett Wilson. Ugh.
It's okay. It's okay.
This is
you got Kyler though.
This is an interesting exercise because you're doing this pre-NFL draft, right? We don't have landing spots. We don't know draft capital. And it's part of the fear of missing out on the rookie that could boom and could be the next thing. And then putting value on players that we've seen do it. And I think this is what makes dynasty startups, especially before free agency in the NFL draft, so tough because you got to make a decision and you got to pick a direction. And I don't know if this team truly had a direction in mind or if it was just haphazardly picking players. Again, so far I think Gene has the best draft out of all of these teams so far. All right, so let's take a look at 109. And I actually like this one, all right? I think I like this.
So this is 111 then.
111. Yeah. 109 is your roster. Don't correct me. As many times as you've screwed up so far, don't try to correct me. Everyone knows what I mean. The next pick up, 111, because we're saving Jay Rich's team for last. We've got DeAndre Swift at the 111 spot, followed up by Trey Lance, Deebo Samuel. So an organic stack. Trey Lance at 202, Deebo Samuel at 311. Then Matt Corral and Travis Kelce, Dalvin Cook at 602, A.J. Dillon at 711, Jamison Williams at 802, Pat Freiermuth at 911, and Davis Mills at 1002. Jay put another eye. Jay, you and these eyes, these extra eyes, man, these extra eyes in Jamison Williams' name. We'll work on this. Again, I like the players, but then you go Travis Kelce at 5'11". Maybe it's going for it, man. Maybe this is the win now team, right? There are 3 quarterbacks, Trey Lance, Matt Corral, Davis Mills. Scary, risky. Your running backs, DeAndre Swift, Dalvin Cook, A.J. Dillon. That could do something. No, this isn't a win now team because your wide receiver 2 isn't even going to play this year, Jamison Williams isn't even going to play this year. So all you've got is Deebo at receiver. Tight end is fine. God, this one is not
It's interesting.
good.
It's interesting. It's a little tight end heavy for me is one of the big problems, right?
I don't
But
like
I love
it.
the value on A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon at 711 I think is a great bet. Looking at the board, again, this is a tough spot to draft. I was drafting 2 picks before this guy. There's some good picks in between. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's tough to build. And so people are aware too. Matt Corral was actually the first rookie quarterback taken off the board, taken right ahead of Malik Willis. I think the Deebo Samuel pick is a tough one because I'm just not really a believer. He had a great season. That's awesome. But I'm pretty sure he's 28? And he's been pretty
No, he
injury
ain't
prone
that
throughout
old,
his
is
college and NFL career. I don't maybe he's not 28. Maybe
No,
he's
he's not
26.
28. No, he's not that old. Go ahead.
But he's going into his 4th year in the NFL, so he'll need an extension after this season.
Yeah, just turned
20.
26.
I don't know, man.
I think
I'm not there with Deebo. I'm
okay,
just not. I don't want him that early.
I'm kind of with you, but I think Travis Kelce at 5'11" is a good value, right? It's to get him
100%.
at almost the 6th
100%.
round. Like, what he would need to do is trade Travis Kelce immediately. Like, you got to trade him immediately. You probably need to trade Dalvin Cook. Like, I don't know what this team is doing. Like, you can't bank on essentially a rookie starter in Trey Lance, a rookie in Matt Corral, and a second-year player that's probably going to be devoid of weapons in Davis Mills, and then pair them with 2 veterans that are clearly win-now pieces in Travis Kelce and Dalvin Cook. Yeah, I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I mean, you just drafted all these players and you're going to just trade them. You're going to try to trade
probably
Kelce.
gonna have
You're
to.
trading Cook. You have to wait for Corral to develop. You got to wait on Jamison Williams. Like, I'm not in favor. I don't like the dynasty with my team's future in the hands of other managers because that's what happens here. Your future is in the hands of somebody who says, I will pay you a 1st-round pick for Travis Kelce. I'll pay you a 1st-round pick for Dalvin Cook. I like to control my destiny and my narrative, and I don't think this roster provides you. I don't think you can do that with those players. You're almost at the will of the other manager who wants Kelce, right? Like, you need to get off Travis Kelce, but I'm not paying you a high draft pick. I'll give you 2 seconds for him, and you're like, I know he's worth more than that, but shit, I got to get off of this guy, right? I don't know, man. So far.
Yeah, Jonah, to your point, Jamison Williams probably not going to do much. We expect him maybe
he's
back
not.
half of the season. Best end probably is maybe week 8 through 17 we do something. And then the 0 strategy draft from old RayGQue.
My son is out here just tearing up these mock drafters, man. Son, stop getting on YouTube and talking bad about all these mock drafters because they're going to be in the Discord later saying that they're too mean. I just told my son to get off YouTube. He's 4 years old and he's in here just killing the entire mock. Yeah, man. I don't know, Jay. This one to me, where's the direction on this team, man?
It's tough. It's tough.
This is not good. All right, maybe the even number teams could do better next week. All right, Jay. Your squad is up. Let's see what the people think about your squad. I bet you he got all his picks named right. All right. Jay Rich out of the 109 hole. Look at this. Spice Man himself going with the wide receiver out the gate. So Jamar Chase at 109. Kyle Pitts at 204. CeeDee Lamb at 309. Jalen Waddle at 404. Derrick Henry, Terry McLaurin, Aaron Jones,
my God, Mike.
Zeke Elliott, Daniel Jones at 9-9, and Carson Strong at 10-4. All right. Jay, defend your draft. Go.
Okay, so I will be honest with you, people. You do not want the 109. This is a terrible draft slot. But I did make one mistake in this draft. While the plan was never to compete, I was fading QB. I didn't like where they were going. I could have taken Trey Lance 109. Didn't want to do that. My biggest mistake was if I'm going to take a quarterback that I think has the highest upside, it would have been Malik Willis at 309. Malik Willis ended up going at 402. 403. One pick before I took Jalen Waddle. So I was kind of playing the game. Will he come back? Will he not come back? Ultimately, I was drafting for what I could potentially get as the largest return on my investment. Jalen Waddle can get me 2 first-round picks. Jamar Chase can get me 2-3 first-round picks. Kyle Pitts could get me first-round picks if I wanted to trade them. Or if I wanted to hold some of these guys, they're still going to have lots of years left in the NFL, elite talents. I was literally just drafting for talent. That's what I did. Again, I would not advise fading quarterback. I would have been trading down. I would have been accumulating more assets. But
Oh,
this is what I had to do. So I faded the whole way. And from there, you know, you
my
just got to do what you got to do.
my son is destroying every mock draft. Ryland G, you got every running back nobody wants in Dynasty.
I know.
In Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, and Zeke Elliott.
But
I
good
mean,
value, though. I was like, I mean, if you're just going to give me these guys, I might as well take them. I don't need wide receivers. The quarterbacks were terrible.
yeah.
You know,
So
between
you,
there, it was
I
just
know what you did.
nothing really there.
But what did I just say? And Jeremy said it right. You put your dynasty, your destiny in the league mates' hands. Like you that's what you're doing because you're banking on being able to sell Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Ezekiel Elliott. And you're right. You probably can get a haul for Jamar Chase. I agree. You were at 109. Quarterbacks that were around you, you passed on Dak Prescott and he went right after, right? You passed on DeAndre Swift. You passed on Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. If you went Chase at 109, here's my thing. My thing is this. I'm not going to completely obliterate you for taking Chase at 109 because you probably can tear down and get assets on top of Chase. But at 2-4, you 100% should have went either Fields or if you're playing for later, Lawrence, Watson, because in this scenario, man, you took Chase at 109, but if you ended up with Jalen Waddle hypothetically as your wide receiver 1 at 4-4, you could have loaded up at other positions and been fine with Jalen Waddle as your wide receiver 1, Terry McLaurin in the 6th as your wide receiver 2, and you still had an option to get some good players, you know, in the 7th, 8th, and that would have kept you from having to draft the Aaron Jones and the Ezekiel Elliott's. And I know you've been a big proponent. You keep talking about Zeke being a value because he's going to get volume. I am Dallas Cowboy lover 101.
You went after Tony Pollard in this draft.
I get it.
Pretty crazy.
I get it. It was one pick, so let's. It wasn't like he went. It was literally one pick after Tony Pollard. But I'd rather have Tony Pollard than Zeke Elliott in Dynasty. I get the value for the volume value, volume value, but this roster, man,
But okay, so the question is
I'll say this. Let me say this real quick. I think of all the shit rosters that we looked at today, and just about all of them were terrible. Outside of it makes Mike's 101 draft look actually a lot better. Have we gone through these? I think Gene had the best draft. Mike probably the second best. But what you did is you got young players that have value that you can trade away, right? Like nobody's taking Antonio Gibson off of Mike at 101. No one's giving you anything significant for Zach Wilson or Calvin Ridley. So I think of your bad draft, you've got 4 or 5 legitimate assets that you can move off of and get good return. Chase, Pitts, Lamb, Waddle, maybe Terry McLaurin with the QB upgrade. I think you got 5 of the most valuable pieces, but this team makes no sense. Like Derrick Henry there in the middle, you're probably trading him for seconds.
But if I don't trade him though, like let's say I trade one of those assets for a quarterback, like you said, this draft looks a lot better to where then I have the running backs. Like I have 3 solid, well maybe 2 solid running backs, maybe not 3, maybe 1.5 solid running backs. I got a bunch of receivers, I got a good tight end, and then I have 1 good quarterback and 2 that we'll see what happens with them. I would obviously need a second quarterback, but if I were to trade for a quarterback, then I think the roster looks a lot better. I was kind of just drafting for the most value, knowing that I didn't want to go quarterback early, didn't want Prescott, went with Chase, and then kind of kept going down. And the theory is I would be the earliest team tanking in this draft, and I would be trading down and trading away.
I don't think you got bad players at all. You just don't have a quarterback, and you're going to have to move some of those guys. I'm just looking at the board, right? The Derrick Henry pick, right? You picked him at 5'9". Would it have made more sense?
I think it depends, though.
Could you have? I think the play would have been in round 3. You needed to get either because you had a shot at.
Should I have got Carr or Cousins? Like that's even the chat. Like right, you took Carr at 5'12". I could have taken Cousins.
Don't tell my team.
I could have actually taken Cousins back when I took McLaurin. I was like, I don't know.
I think McLaurin at 6'4" is fine, man. I just think.
Yeah.
This is the issue in Dynasty Superflex, and this is why, back to the original point of how many quarterbacks could crack the top 5, dude, after 110, you got your shot at Lance Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Watson is like your last gasp hope. You got Russell Wilson and Jalen Hurts. If you try to punt on quarterback, it's rough.
Very ugly.
It gets ugly real quick, right? You're taking 1-year Reynolds and an Aaron Rodgers. You're risking your future on a Kenny Pickett, a Sam Howell, a Ryan Tannehill who's probably not going to start for long, Baker, Carr. We'll see. I think somebody said they like Iowa Mike's team. They like Mike's team. And I think I agree. Like, having gone through this, if I say the top 3 teams in this mock, and remember, Antonio Gibson is not 210. It's Cam Akers. I think Gene had the best draft. Herbert, Akers, Stafford, Adams, Treylon, Montgomery, Pittman, Miles Sanders, DJ Chark, Dalton Schultz. I really like that build, okay? Some people said they like Eric's team. Lamar, Watson, Kupp, Higgins, DJ Moore, Godwin, Nuke, Clyde, Leonard Fournette, and Dawson Knox. And I know Eric, and I know how he plays with the running backs. He'll just dumpster dive running back and roll out a bunch of wide receivers. I don't hate this roster either. Baylor's roster, did not like it. Singletary, Michael Thomas, Kyron at the 8-6. Wow. Garrett Wilson at 6'6". Kittle, Breece Hall, Tua, A.J. Brown, Kyler Murray, not a fan. Gump's team, Swift, Trey Lance, Debo, Corral, Kelsey Cook, A.J. Dillon, Jameson Williams, Freiermuth, Davis Mills, not a fan. And your team, I think your team cracks the top 3. I don't hate your team, man. You just would need to get busy immediately, making some deals, making some moves.
You know what I did last time, right?
Yeah. I don't hate
last
it.
Last got busy early.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Baylor. Where's it at? Baylor fumbled the bag in this one. Yeah. All right, so those were the odd number teams. So next week, who do we have on tap? So Brandon, who kind of helps admin our Discord channel, the 102 spot. Jordan Backus, who runs the database at the 1-4. Ben Eby from Elite Seekers at 1-6. We've got the other half of the 4D chess, Adam. He was out of the 108 hole. We've got the FF Whisperer out of 110, and your boy RayGQue drafting out of the 12 spot. And just looking at my team, do you think I have a good roster in here?
I think your roster's okay.
This dude is the biggest because he got his ass tore up. Now my roster's okay.
Hold on.
Now my roster's okay. All right.
For you, your issue is the elite ceiling at quarterback, but you have spectacular running backs, which is good.
Yeah. We'll get
right.
My son said, "Where's the team?" Hey, I'll be in there in a little bit to fix your pancakes, boy. I'll be there later. Appreciate y'all tapping in. We do have NBA play tonight. So NBA is back, and y'all know we're trying to build the bankroll. Play with us. Join us. We're trying to build the bankroll. So let's look at what we got today for NBA plays, Jay. NBA is back. We're going Steph Curry over 24.5 points. Anthony Simons over 21.5. He has been cooking lately. And the Joker versus the terrible Sacramento Kings over 13 rebounds. We just sprinkled a little bit on this. So just sprinkled a little bit. This is Prize Picks. Promo code WAKEUP. 100% deposit match up to $100. Put in 10, they match you 10. Put in 50, they match you 50. You put in 100, they give you 100. The link to sign up and deposit money is below. Do it. Play with us. Let's build a bankroll. Let's watch the Portland Trail Blazers over the Golden State Warriors. And let's not watch the Sacramento Kings and the Denver Nuggets, but we'll just cash out on the Joker's over rebound total. You think we got a shot at hitting this one tonight, Jay?
Definitely. I mentioned I love Anfari Simons. I think he's been playing out of his mind since the CJ McCollum trade. Dame obviously not back. I'm curious to see how he kind of matches up with Steph Curry, if they even have that matchup, because the only thing that may hold them up is Klay Thompson. I don't know where Klay Thompson's minutes are going to be at, but Klay Thompson's a really good perimeter defender. And so if he's matched up with Simons, that could be a bit of trouble. But Jokic against Domantas Sabonis probably in the paint, I'm not too worried about that. He's more of an offensive big than a defensive big. And so he should have no problem getting to 16, 17, 18 rebounds against those terrible Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, not good. So hopefully we'll cash this one. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. We'll have a couple of more plays in there for the weekend. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So next week
Very
we got
good.
the Combine. We've got the NFL Combine. We're going to do a lot of – I don't know what day it actually starts, Jay. It's definitely not Monday or Tuesday.
We'll be doing, I think Tuesdays and Wednesdays are weigh-ins because it's done by
Okay.
position group, right? So it's kind of staggered. I think the biggest day will be actually Thursday. We'll probably have weigh-ins from wide receivers and running backs by Thursday. And I think first team drills start Thursday or Friday. So again, we may not have a ton of information, but it will be a massive show on Monday to talk about everything Combine. But we may be able to do some weigh-in stuff. Did guys change from Senior Bowl to now Combine? How big or small are some of the guys compared to what we thought? And have a lot of speculative fun with that before we actually see them test and run. I believe that most of that for the players we care about is Friday and Saturday.
So what we're going to do, too, is we're going to do another rookie mock after the Combine hype hits and watch how the values change based on Isaiah Spiller's 40, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams' size and weight, Treylon Burks' 40-yard dash. It's going to be fun. So we appreciate y'all tapping in. Subscribe to the podcast. Check out all the dope shows on Destination Devy Radio. The link's in the description below. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe, be blessed, be awesome, and tap in with us on Monday, man. We out of this thing. Peace.